Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Touring Australia. Somebody asked about a video on, things you should clean and how to clean the car after a trip, or, so whether it be a dirty, dusty trip or you're down the beach, that sort of thing. So I'm going to show you a few other areas that we like to clean. Yeah, that's washing the car. That's the basics. Everybody knows how to do that, right? So we're not going to give the engine bay a wash. You've seen, we've got videos on 4x4 diesel how to wash the engine bay, because I suppose it's more of a, when you do the service, you give everything a wash down. But after a trip, what I'm likely to do, depending, I'll pop the bonnet, I'll have a look, and if it looks pretty clean, I won't worry about it. But if it looks a bit dusty, I might just get the hose and give it a spray over. I just want to sort of clean the battery. It's mainly for looks. It's not really going to even do much. It's just more of a, make it look good for you type, look. And the main thing I'm going to look at if I pop the bonnet is if there's bugs and stuff down here at the condenser or radiator or whatever you want to call it, right? And I want to give a bit of water to push those down and get those off. Same as there's a few bugs up there in the intercooler cover still, and we'll get those out one day. But look, if the engine bay is really dirty, we're not going to waste your time here. Watch our videos on 4x4 diesel, how to wash an engine bay. As we said, pretty straightforward washing the paintwork, keep it wet, bit of soap, give it a scrub, or you can just spray on some truck wash type stuff and hit it with a pressure washer. It gets most of the dirt off, but if you want it clean, you do need to put a sponge to it. Too dirty in here, but obviously, you know how to vacuum the car and whatever. I guess what people are talking about is how to clean what's important, the important things to clean. Like, I like to use compressed air and blow off the whole dash to get all the dust. That's the best thing. Compressed air and vacuum type thing, and we use those yellow cloths from, what are they? Kirkland from Costco, to just damp cloths to give everything a wipe down to get most of the dust. But the interior is pretty simple, isn't it? Right, we're almost to the nitty gritty, but we've talked about this sort of stuff in other videos, whether it's on 4x4 Diesel or 4x4 Touring Australia. These rear door locks getting dust and dirt in them, we like to use compressed air. You can see the water. I purposely stick the pressure washer between the door, and you can see heaps of water goes in there, right? So every now and then, I don't see any rust, see any issues, but I'd rather have it washed out. It's open to the environment, that's the problem. Would you rather have it full of dust and crap just sitting there and falling in, or just get the water, overload it with water, and washes it all out? So that's one thing. Also, wiping around the perimeter of the paintwork here, see, because otherwise it rubs through. Worth doing on trips also, okay? So bit of a wipe there, wipe around all the door seals and everything like that, and the whole rear door and all the doors. You know how to do that stuff. I suppose this is where it comes to the 4x4 diesel side, not the 4x4 touring. We're going to put this on 4x4 touring because we're talking about cleaning a vehicle. It seems more of a touring thing than a mechanical, but there is a mechanical side to it, because we want to clean things out properly so we don't have problems with the components, rust and corrosion. So this is the next level stuff now. So let's come to the wheels first. So when we come in and we're going to give all your wheels, obviously people know how to spray degreaser, or truck wash and pressure wash, all this, but what you need to think about is getting in here. See the disc rotor and the backing plate right in the middle there. Have I got the light on? Much better with the light on. See the gap between the rotor and the backing plate? The backing plate's right in the middle of the picture. The disc rotor there, the braking surface. In between, it's where you want to put a little bit of water, whether your hose on jet or your pressure washer. Round there, round there, round there, because some of that water, just like the dust, got in behind the rotor into the handbrake assembly. You want to rinse it out. You don't need to use massive amounts of pressure around the caliper and trying to push water in past those little rubber boots right in the middle of the picture, that round thing. Just a nice amount of water, a lot of water, guys. So this is your lesson. Put a lot of water to rinse the dirt out. Obviously, you can't really get your pressure washer in here properly. You don't need, that's all the rocks that clean that off, don't worry about that. But you can't really get your pressure washer into a lot of these places. You're better off using your normal garden hose on jet, right, to get a bit of pressure, but more water. You need more of a quantity of water. I know it's not the best thing for saving water, so go and put in a water tank or whatever you want to do to be environmentally friendly. But you spray degreaser, truck wash, whatever you want around here. But the thing is, then you're looking at the chassis now. Not a lot gets in there. If you stay away from salt water, then you shouldn't have a lot to clean. But a bit of sand and dirt and salt and mud and stuff like that, it all seems to pile up, about there. You can see where the dirt stains are. So there's no dirt there, well, there's a little bit, see? So we could do with a bit more water there, but that's just road dirt at the moment, okay? It's not really, it's been clean since it's been on a trip. You can see everything, components are clean. So you want to spray, think about it, the tire's throwing everything forward, so everything lands in here, we know. So clean that out, but then just look a little bit that way. Oh look, there's some holes in the chassis. Stick your hose into the holes there and get some water flat, and it'll run out the holes at the bottom, right? Some more holes there. Stick your hose in the hole. See in the chassis there? Let's have a good look in there. Right, you can see some dirt stains and whatever. So what does that mean? It means it needs more water, right? Let's have a look in this one. Look at that. Not too bad. It's not rusty though, because it gets cleaned out enough. Bit of dirt residue. So what does that say? How often do you waste water doing this sort of stuff? That's what you've got to think about. How much water? How often do you want to be? How much water? Right? It's a big question. You don't need to sit there and put hundreds of litres of water through it. You just need to rinse it out, okay? So you could probably spend, I would suggest after a beach trip that you would spend probably 10 minutes with a hose, even with a nozzle, trigger nozzle, completely off the end, just getting the flow of water, using your finger, you know, the old way, you know, psh, 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 and just spraying water in around your chassis. Now, let's move to underneath the vehicle. Underneath the vehicle, I'm not crawling around on the ground here, but look, if you have a look up underneath here, you can have a look and go under there, right? Right? You can see what's there. So what I do, I don't crawl around on the ground. I go down with that trigger sprayer. Do I have to get one? Here we go, we've got one here. Funnily enough, we're set up here. And we got things handy. I can just about show you, right? One of these things, right? So what you do, you turn it around and you point it up underneath there. You point it up, right? Right? And you go like that. And when the water, see the water's running out dirty? Right, you move it around all sorts of different directions. It's going to spray everywhere and probably wet me if I'm not careful, because this is stuck on now. No, there it is, because this one's a bit of an old one, you know. $2 in Bunnings type thing, it's a bit broken. Anyway, the point is, move it around under there, right? You don't need to see what you're cleaning necessarily, but this gives you a lot more flexibility to be able to move it around. Again, under here, look, I could go under and point straight up, right? There's a side, I'm pointing straight. You can't do that with a pressure washer, right? You can't go, look, I'll give you an example. Up next to the chassis there, right? All right, stop now. Okay, see, I'm trying to bloody hold the thing and show you what I'm talking about. So the point is, put that hose out of the way. The point is, pressure washer can do damage. So you don't necessarily want a pressure washer going underneath the vehicle, shooting at things unless you know exactly what you're pointing it at, which means you do need to maybe get your kneeling board. I've got like a concreter's kneeling board around here somewhere, and I can get down. I'm not going to kneel on these rocks, bugger that, right? But even on concrete, put it down. Or if it's a hot summer day, you're in your shorts, who cares? You can park it on your driveway and lay down on the concrete and lay down underneath, and if you can control the pressure washer, that's good. But basically I want to clean out, you know, I want to go along there, under the side steps, underneath the body of the vehicle, each side of the chassis. I want to put water above all the fuel tanks, right? So you've got a fuel tank around the back here, right? You know about that. We'll just have a quick look under there, right? You got that fuel tank. So I want water going right up over there, right up over that area there, right? Usually sometimes this will even get full of dust, so you'll give it a clean out, right? Try and avoid, you know, the corrosion, and so you got a decent connection. Okay, same thing over here, you know, underneath there, around there, in all the holes, yep. And then obviously underneath all the steps and that. And when you get down here, yeah, we're going full demo now. So there's the board, and you get down here and you kneel on it, and then you can get under here with your, and you can look around, and under here you'll find it's pretty clean, because you know, that's generally how we roll. It's not too bad, but you want to get, see the water up above the chassis there, into these holes. If you've been on the beach, all the salt spray and salt air and whatever, it gets into everything. So you want to give it a good rinse out from both sides, you know, into these holes here, between the tank and the tank guard. So you won't see any debris, dirt and stuff sitting around on this vehicle. It gets cleaned out. You can see it's been hammered by rocks. It does trips. It's been absolutely hammered. Surface rust. It's only there until the next trip. Not worried about that. Moving towards the front a little bit, same thing. Remember the front though, that the front wheels, they turn. So first thing is water between the disc rotor and that backing plate again, just like we talked about on the rear. Okay, you're going to get a bit of mud sitting up around on top of the control arm, up on the shocker tower, in around the springs. The tyres turn, like I said, so they're going to throw mud down into there, so you need to wash all those plates out, up in there even. At the back here, so you've got those holes down there, right, water into there, more holes at the back there, middle of the picture, you know, down here. Let's have a look in there. Right, you want to rinse all this stuff out. You want to rinse out these wheel arches. 10 minutes you should be able to get around the whole vehicle and get most of the mud out. That's what I do. Let's have a look. Is there any mud trapped anywhere? Can you see any mud, dirt, sand? Looks pretty good to me, I'll tell you. This is cleaning the vehicle from the mechanical perspective, right? So you need to sort of get down in around, see these, all the bushes and boot spray, your truck wash, degreaser, whatever you want, water-based stuff, and just give them a bit of a clean up. So then later when you put it up for the vehicle inspection, you can see if there's any leaks or deterioration type thing, you know what I mean? So you might want to wash it, drive it for a few more days and then put it up for the inspection. Check everything out, but you can see it's all clean, 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 clean. What else have we got over here, over this side? Same thing, right? Just get a bit of water. You want to stick water in each side of the bash plate in here to give it a flush out, so there's not debris and stuff sitting down in the bottom here, in the bottom of your bash plate, at your chassis and stuff like that. You don't want that, right? So just look around all these areas, all these sorts of areas around the wheel arches and stuff. See these rubbers, keep them clean. They're the originals, 13 years old, yep. This one, a clip was missing at the top. It was the clip, so I cut it away to make it easier to access the alternator for inspection, cleaning, whatever, right? You can see, yeah, it's nice and clean and new, isn't it? It's not new anymore, but we'll keep it clean as we can. See, no mud, no need for any mud to be sitting around anyway. You know, we might miss some somewhere, but see, just keep the water going in there, into those holes there, right? Let's have a look. There's probably a bit of rubbish in there. They're just a bit damp from the car wash, really. A bit of dust in there. Again, no need to waste too much water. And really, I don't know, I think we've pretty well covered it. That's cleaning the vehicle. Yeah, people asked. They asked, you know, how to clean the four-wheel drive and, you know, a bit of extra information there. So hopefully you got, besides the usual washing, vacuuming, shamming, you can also get headlight polish if you want to give your headlights a bit more of a, renew those because the sun wrecks everything. Right, we just use the, what do we use? I think it's a kitten headlight polish. It's fairly abrasive, you know, cuts into it a bit. If you put it back in the sun, it'll probably fade it away again in no time. You can get glass polish and whatever. We don't worry about these things too much. Keep it simple. We do use Maguire's, it's called a cleaner wax actually, and the reason I like it is because it puts a bit of wax on the surface, and see these pinstripes, all those, if it's wet and it goes away, basically it'll polish out pretty easy, okay? So when it dries, you'll see those a bit more like here, but when you wet it and it goes away, that means it's going to polish out fairly easy. But by having the wax on there, it protects it a little bit in the biggest way, that when you come across the sticks and they hit the paintwork, they slide over it better rather than dig and gouge in, so you get less of a pin stripe, if you know what I mean. Anyway guys, hope this has been helpful. What else I didn't really plan this video, so I guess last but not least, unless I forgot other things, you can watch our 4x4 diesel video, the vehicle inspection type videos, to get to know your way around the vehicle. So then you know when you stick that trigger nozzle spray underneath, where you're spraying it type thing. And you can see from our videos, if there's dirt sitting around under vehicles, you get to know where it's sitting, so you know what to do with your trigger sprayer. Anyway, this often gets overlooked, ours doesn't. You can see some dirt stains around there. They're just stains, it's actually not dirty. Well, not very dirty. But you know, after a trip, this will get really dirty and dusty. And at the end of the day, that's where you're putting your fuel in, and you want the least water, dust and dirt, so you don't fuel up straight after you wash the car like now, and you don't leave the dust and dirt there. When you wash the car, pop this open, hit some water in there. There's nothing in there, as long as the cap's on, there's nothing in it's going to leak. But again, always be careful with a pressure washer. Just a bit of water, a bit of soap, and rinse it out. And it's got drain hole there, right? So that drain hole at the bottom there, and all that'll just run out, you know, down underneath there, whatever. Close it up, and that's a done deal, right? That's bada bing, bada boom. So hopefully you learn a little bit about what to think about cleaning the vehicle after an off-road trip. If you did and you got something out of that and it gave you an idea, something you haven't been cleaning, please give it the thumbs up, and hopefully we'll do another better vehicle cleaning video or even better than that, let's do a getting the vehicle dirty video soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, turn the bell on. Catch ya.